That's a way to start it there, Ed. What's going on, everyone? My name is Brad Chandler. I am the host of the Pascal Report, and we are starting a brand new YouTube show called Green Acres. Green Acres is basically myself, Ed, who is also a member of, he's a co host of the Pascal Report. We will be talking about the farm system, and with us, we're bringing on a new face, our friend. He's been a part of the crew for a little bit. I want to say, what, maybe about 3 weeks, four
That sounds
weeks?
right. That sounds right.
Yeah. We have Tim, who is going to be joining us. For right now, what we're going to do is we're going to probably do this about once a month. Ed here, our big our big minor league guy. He works with stocksprospects.com, and he's pretty busy. So getting Ed is kind of not an easy task. So for right now, for the moment, we're going to end up doing this once a month. And what we're going to do, we're going to cover the Worcester Red Sox. We're going to cover the Portland Sea Dogs. We're going to cover the Greenville Drive. We're going to cover uh, uh, Salem Red Sox. What
Yeah.
other team am I missing?
Well, there's the summer league teams come later on, but right now I think it's just the four.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything here. But we're going to be covering the farm system. I'm going to let Ed take over for a little bit. He's going to talk about, was it Greenville? You're
I've
going to
got
talk about.
Worcester and Greenville, so I was thinking just go down the system in order. Start with Worcester, and
Sure.
then we get to the moment we're really here for, which is Marcelo Meyer and Salem.
Right, and that's what Tim will be covering. He's going to be paying attention more to the Salem Red Sox, and this is going to be fun for me. I don't know about you guys. This is going to be the first time that I'm actually paying attention to the minor leagues. Um, we all know about Casas, and last year I was going to games to see Casas and whatnot, and you know, after everything he did last year, getting called up to AAA, and then going to the Olympics and smashing there. He was disappointed because he ended up getting silver and not gold. Anybody else in the world would have been like, "Yeah, I won silver," but this guy was just like, "Nah, I didn't do what I came to do." So, Ed, why don't you start us off? Let us know about some of the players that we should
Yeah.
be paying attention to up in Worcester.
Oh gosh, definitely. And I mean, Cassis. First of all, you're making me feel like a real hot commodity here. So thank you for just boosting my ego to unrealistic proportions. It's great for the old self esteem. But Cassis is a really good place to start because he's the guy everybody's heard of, and he's also off to a pretty good start with AAA. Now he got a little bit of time there last year. They brought him up for sort of like a pseudo cup of coffee in AAA. I think it was something like the last 2 weeks of the season. Hit a
Yeah,
home run.
right.
Got to feel it out a little bit though. And he started a little slow, but now he's 50 plate appearances in, slashing 282 batting average. He's got a 420 on base percentage and a 564 slugging percentage. That's from two doubles and three homers. So the power pretty consistent with what he's done in the minors. He's drawing walks like he has in the minors. He's hitting for average. He's hitting for power. The thing that has really been a surprise to me more than anything else has just been his defense because the dude's like 6'6". It's kind of like having this big target to throw to, and that's gonna. You don't appreciate that quite as much because the majors, everybody who's playing first base for the most part is going to be like a decent fielder, but he saved at least 6 or 7 errors just by being very good at making scoops and also just being such a large target. Like it
So,
really helps.
do you think he's going to get the nickname Scoops?
I wouldn't mind that. I kind of prefer his Olympic nickname though, the American Nightmare. I think that's one
Oh
of my favorite
wow,
nicknames.
that's a Cody Rose reference right there.
Yeah, it's pretty great, right?
Right,
I,
I
I
like
like
it.
that one a lot.
The
And he's
American
like
Nightmare.
he's kind of built like a wrestler too, so it kind of it's kind of perfect. But he's been good. They're batting him second. They were batting him second for a while. He's batting third more recently. That's been a trend where the team's best hitter bats second. It kind of moved him around, but he actually believe it or not, there are two guys that are hitting better than him right now on that team.
Franchi, right?
Franchi is one of them. Yes, Franchi is off to an absolutely just ridiculous start, as he was doing in spring training. Also, he's got a 348 batting average right now, 674 slugging percentage. He's hit 6 doubles and 3 homers. And he also has 18 RBI somehow. He's only had 50 plate appearances also. I think they've gotten into about 10 games. So, he's on like a 200 RBI pace right now. Probably not gonna last. He hit a grand slam fairly early, but he's looked, again, really good. They've played him all over the outfield. He's gotten some time at first base. But we've seen this before from him. He did this last year as well. And it makes me wonder if the narrative would have been different with him if they had started him off at AAA last year before he got brought up to the majors, as opposed to last year when he started. I think he was batting like 9th or something for them to start the season. And, the power just wasn't there. It kind of makes me wonder if they're kind of trying to do the reverse here and just have him really just work his way up. But he's been an absolute force. And, this is a big year for him. This is really...
Didn't he get DFA'd?
He did. And nobody claimed him. And then they signed him to a $750,000 minor league free agent contract. So he is not on the 40-man at the moment, which I think did affect a little bit why he didn't make the team out of spring training, despite knocking the cover off the ball. And, why he's still there now. But it's a big year for him. He's 27. This is really going to determine, I think, if he is a quadruple A player, if he does end up seeing his career move overseas, or, if he's going to be a major league baseball player. But right now, he's off to a good start. The other one, though, and he did miss a little bit of time because he was a close contact with COVID, but it's everybody's favorite utility guy, the new Brock Holt. That's Ryan Fitzgerald. Fitzy is actually, now he's got about 13 less plate appearances. So at the beginning of the season, small sample sizes, no matter what. But he's hitting 394, and he's got a 909 slugging percentage. Now that comes from a double, 2 triples, and 4 home runs. I don't know if you were watching at the beginning of the year, it was like everything this guy hit was just like a rocket pulled to right.
The biggest call of spring training was Euclid when he hit that home run. Fitzy!
He's going to be in the majors at some point this year. They're giving him a little more now. His last position that he's really learned, he really did come up an infielder. They're giving him a lot more time in the outfield now and really all over the outfield. Right. So I think that they just want his defense to be a little more sound, but I would not be surprised if he's in the majors by June, if he's still hitting and if there's an opening. He's somebody. There isn't a lot. I mean, he's 27. He's been around for a bit in the minors. He actually was an undrafted free agent. He played when he was 22. Nobody drafted him, played indie ball. Red Sox picked him up, and he's kind of just risen through the system ever since. So it's a good story. They're kind of similar to Daniel Nava in some ways, but he's a little more versatile defensively than Nava was.
Now, there's a name that hasn't been brought up. We saw him last year, speedy outfielder. Good on the bases when he gets on base. Jarren Duran, what's up with him? I know he ended up catching COVID again.
Yeah. He was another COVID guy, and he's back in the lineup now. He's actually there. So as we're doing this, the Red Sox are playing right now, and he is today 2 for 2 with two stolen bases. He's, it's a small sample size again, but he is hitting 429, which not bad.
How many plate appearances?
He's up to it's 14 at bats right now, so he hasn't really walked a ton. I think it's let me just double check that. Yeah, it's like 18 plate appearances. So again, it's a small sample size, but he's doing what he does. The 4 stolen bases are nice. He was getting he's made, and I saw this the first game at least. Like he was making some very questionable base running decisions. Like I don't know if like Alex Verdugo was running clinics or something. During spring training, but he's just making some kind of questionable. It's like, yes, you're fast, but like you have to have like good judgment with this.
Exactly.
He just really needs to improve his instincts on the base paths.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, how do you trade instincts though? You know what I mean? Like that's hard. And he's already had to make some transitions before his. he came up as a second baseman.
Right.
The outfield is relatively new for him. He's, the power, he wasn't a power hitter at all.
Yep.
That was entirely taught during the 2020 season. So there's, he's proven to be very coachable. And I think that part of why he's starting in AAA this year is because they want his adjustments. They want him to show that he can, that those adjustments work before they give him another shot at the majors.
Yeah, he made the adjustment at where he's holding the bat now, as opposed to the way he was holding it last year.
Yeah, exactly. And, like that's hopefully will help him catch up with those high fastballs. I would like to see him, not to go to referencing on Major League, but I would like to see him hit the ball on the ground and utilize his speed a little more.
Willie
Mays Hayes, exactly. Because I just, he can hit for power, but I don't know if he should be a power hitter.
You should get on base, especially if you're speedy. If you have the speed like he does. Now, I have one more person I wanted to talk about. Johan Mieses.
Yes.
Our version of Vladdy Jr. And it's amazing, honestly, how similar his swings are to Vladdy Jr. I was watching a couple Woo Sox games, and I'm just like, holy crap, dude, we really do have like a Vladdy Jr. lookalike. It like his swing was just like it, but he's an outfielder. Give us a little brief biography or whatever on Johan.
Johan Mieses they brought him in as a minor league free agent. I believe he came up with the Dodgers. That was the team that he was like an international free agent with. You just double check. Yeah, he was a Dodger. And then he ended up in the Cardinals system and kind of bounced around for a bit. And then last year he started off in Portland. And that first month just went batshit crazy. He hit 11 home runs in his first 23 games. He was the Sox Prospects Player of the Month for April or May or whenever it was that the season started. He was just knocking the crap out of the ball. So he comes up to AAA, and then he has to leave for a bit because he was actually on the Dominican Republic. I believe they won the bronze medal in the Olympics. He was on that team, and he played pretty well there. He's a lot more nimble than he looks. He's not. I don't think he's like a pure DH. I think that I've seen they were using him in right field a bunch in Worcester last year, and he moves for a man of his build. He moves very well.
I saw him in with the Portland Sea Dogs, and he has a cannon.
Yeah, he's got a good arm.
When people like talk about Hunter Renfroe and him being able to throw people out at like third base and whatnot, like this dude's got an actual cannon. He can. I saw him throw somebody out at third base. Granted, it's AA, but you gotta put it into perspective. They have the same. What you would call it? They're all in AA. So I mean, when he's throwing somebody out from the corner of right field at third base, that's impressive no matter where you are.
Oh, yeah. Those guys are going to be fast there, too. Their speed. That's where, they're what, like 21, 22? I never ran faster than when I was that age, Yeah. So that's, he's really interesting. I think he does strike out a good amount, and he's a little bit on the older side. He's, I believe, 27. He did 26. Do the coolest thing that I've seen at 26, sorry. He did do the coolest thing I've seen at any minor league baseball game, though, which was hit a home run off of the Amtrak train as it was passing. Now, if you've been to any Woo Sox games, they have like the train track goes right by the stadium, and you have to. It's kind of on the. It's really on the left field side, and you have to pull it to keep it fair. He somehow managed. Like I don't know how he kept it fair. It must have been like 430 feet or something, right off the side of the train. It was. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen because I've been thinking like, I wonder if they like built it out of the way, or if you just hit a good shot, it's going to go off of it. Yep, you can hit it. You can hit that train.
Yep. Yeah, you totally can.
Yeah.
I've only been to one Woo Sox game, and I was there for literally 2 innings before it got rained out.
There were so many rainouts last.
I haven't made it yet.
Santana is making a rehab start there, and I booed the ever-living hell out of him. So, anything else that we should know about the Woo Sox?
The pitching there isn't I mean, AAA can be weird with pitchers because you have a lot of relievers that have major league experience that are kind of waiting for their opportunity. They do have a few interesting starting prospects there that are on the 40-man roster. There's today's starter, Connor Siebold, who has now, as of today, thrown his last 10 innings have been scoreless. 11 now. His ERA is down to 1.23. It was, he came up to the majors a little bit last year. He didn't look great in spring training, but he's one of these guys who really, when all of his stuff is going, he's a really nice number 4, number 5 starter, like what you're seeing with Michael Walker right now. He doesn't have that kind of fastball, but he's got good control. He's got a changeup, and he knows how to pitch. And when his mechanics are on, which they were not in the spring, which is the case for a lot of people, he's somebody who can be that like perennial innings eater in the back of your rotation. So I like him.
So two other guys. Before we switch over, I wanted to hear about you got. We know about the Red Sox COVID situation that's going on, but Plawecki and Vasquez have been, they caught COVID. They're not eligible to play. So now we got 2 AAA catchers, one who's only caught 11 games. Rolando, right? Is that his name?
Are you talking Rolando Hernandez?
Right. We got
Ronaldo Hernandez. Ronaldo Hernandez.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I keep thinking Rolando for some reason.
I'm thinking, I remember Rolando Arroyo. Rojo. That's who I'm thinking of. But Ronaldo Hernandez.
And Connor Wong. Connor Wong had an amazing game catching last night. Give us a little information on that, and then we'll head on over and start talking about the Portland Sea Dogs.
Yeah. Wong, I mean, he's sort of that Blake Swihart mold of he's a catcher, but he's athletic. Now I saw him make 3 errors in one game at second base, so I'm not the most sold on his infield defense. But as a catcher, he calls a good game, decent arm. He's got reasonably good power. He's fast. He strikes out a little too much right now, though. I would like to see him make a little bit more contact. I forget where I was talking to somebody about this recently, about like where do you think next year will be the year that Wong is on the team for the full season? And even with Vasquez leaving, I don't think he's a starter right now. I would start Plawecki over him in a heartbeat. If he can add a little more contact to his game, though, he becomes more interesting. As of now, I kind of see him as a utility guy, though. Very useful person to have on your team because of that versatility and the speed.
Right.
Hernandez is just interesting, though. He came over. He was the big return for Jeff Spriggs and Chris Mazza. He came along with Nick Sogard, but he was the main guy there. He's on the 40. He was on the 40-man before. They've been holding on to him there for a bit. Just a strong hitting catcher. Not the best. It's not even so much the defense. His framing is just not good. He's like, I read a scouting report for him that basically said that of any professional catcher, he would benefit the most from robot umps, just because of his framing ability is not great. But he's got an absolute rifle for an arm, but like well above average. He has a very strong throwing arm. He had 16 home runs at Double-A last year. He got that same cup of coffee that Tristan Casas got, and also Josh Winkowski, who's another pitcher there, who came over in the Andrew Benintendi trade, who's been their best starter thus far. So that's Hernandez. I mean, this is a nice opportunity for him. I'm glad it kind of sucks that both catchers go down at the same time.
Right.
I hope he gets into a game before those guys come back.
The expectation, I saw that Sox Stats posted that he believes that Thursday.
Because it's the day game. It's the day game.
It's the day game. So you got 2 night games, and Wong will be catching those.
Yep.
And then you'll get Hernandez in on Thursday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of information on the Woo Sox. I'm not as informative when it comes to the Portland Sea Dogs. I just have a couple players that I'd like to talk about. Like I said to everybody else out there, I just started watching and getting into watching the minor leagues and things like that. Been trying to pay attention to the Woo Sox, been trying to pay attention to the Portland Sea Dogs, the Greenville Drive and the Salem Red Sox. while also paying attention to the Boston Red Sox. So on the Pesky Report, we have had a couple of the guys that have been on or that are on the Portland Sea Dogs on our show. We had Cole Cottom, who actually just hit a walk-off last night. I believe, was it in the 11th, Ed?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was like the 10th or the 11th. It was.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So we had Cole Cottom on, great guy. From my point of view, I'm not a stats person. I'm more of an eye person, and I like what I see from him. He's a little bit of an older. He seems older, right? Like, am I wrong? Is he like in his late 20s?
No, he's. I think he's mid. I think he's 24, if I remember correctly. I can check that real quick. But no, he's. He was a college player, and he's been around for a few years. Yeah, he's only 24.
Really? I guess it must be the mustache.
Yeah, no, it's looking like Ned Flanders will do that for you.
Wow, I don't know if that's a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Or a backhanded.
Ned Flanders is an American icon. How dare you question that?
And we also had Nick Sogard on, and having Nick on was pretty interesting. I don't know if he was nervous or not, but he didn't give us a lot of information on himself, but he went 1 for 2 last night with 2 walks. So I mean, that's fantastic from my point of view. I mean, you got on base 3 times, and you had 2 chances basically is what that's saying. So, but the one person that has actually been like the person that I've been interested in is David Hamilton. He is one of the other players. We got Alex Benelis. Is that his name? Alex Benelis?
Yep.
We got Alex
Benelis
and David Hamilton with Jackie Bradley Jr. when we ended up trading Hunter Renfroe to the Milwaukee Brewers. And in his first game, Hamilton hit a home run. He started off with a triple, a home run, a grand slam, a single. He was just shy of hitting a double. Instead of hitting the double, he hit a grand slam. I mean, amazing. He's been fun to watch as well. But there's who is it? Brian? No, that's not Brayan. Is that how you say it?
Brayan Bello, yeah.
Brayan Bello. He's a pitching prospect. He looks really good. Last night, I believe it's Herman, not German, right? Is it German or Herman?
It's Herman.
Yeah, Herman,
okay.
Yeah.
So Frank Herman is a prospect player that we ended up getting in the not Andrew Benintendi.
No, that was
the Adam Ottavino pickup. We got Adam Ottavino and Herman, and he struck out 9 last night, right?
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
No, he struck out 3. No, he struck out 3. He was the he got the win
3?
though. They've been using him as their closer, and his stuff is my god. I wouldn't be surprised if
who got 9?
Oh, that was Lou at Greenville.
Okay, that's why I got that confused. I know somebody got 9. So I mean, we've got some players that we should be. I'm going to end up paying attention to. I'm kind of biased to Cole Cottom just because of the fact that he was like super, super nice coming on and whatnot. Same with Nick Sogard. We get more guys to come on the show. I'll probably be like the biggest Sea Dogs fan ever. Really excited to see what Hamilton does this year. Christian Koss is a player that we need to pay attention to as well. Hudson Potts. These are basically the guys that I'm used to hearing. I know we got to see Tyler Dearden in spring training. Who else did we end up seeing in spring training?
There's one guy, and I don't know how much he pitched at spring training, but Brandon Walter, I don't believe has allowed a run yet. That's the one that Cottom says he has.
I was about to say
he has slider he's ever seen. The whole rotation there has been ridiculous, though. It's just been like 1 run, 5 innings, 0 runs, 6 innings from pretty much everybody in the rotation, and it's their rotation is by far the best of any of the affiliates. Like they're just Chris Murphy's been good.
Walters just looks like a psycho. Like look at his hair.
Isn't that what you want in your starting pitcher though? Don't you want someone that's just going to scare the shit out of the other team?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I got that half smile going on, and I'm like, all right, dude, I see you. I don't want to be anywhere near you. So Yeah, I'm pretty pumped to be watching some of these games. I know that they're coming to Hartford on May 13th, the weekend of May 13th, so I'm going to go see them. I got some stuff for Cole and Nick. Hopefully, I can get it to them. So, all right, so let's talk about Greenville,
Yeah,
Ed.
yeah, and
Actually, you know what?
yeah,
You and I have both already talked.
yeah, I think you're right.
Tim hasn't had a chance to introduce himself, give a little bit of a background on him and how he became a fan of the Boston Red Sox. Hey, Tim, give us a little background on you, where you're from, and how you got into the Red Sox, and why you wanted to join this show.
All right, I just want to say first, thanks, Brad, for having me. It's been a pleasure to meet you and everybody on the crew. And Ed's been a great help, especially with all the work he does with Sox prospects. That's been a great help. And I'm actually from New York, and I'm a big Red Sox fan. My mom's side of the family is from Massachusetts, and my grandpa is the one that really got me into Red Sox baseball when I was younger. I've been alive for like the '04, the '07, '13, and '18, but I was really young in '04. So the first one I really do remember is '07, and that was like I like that team a lot, but my favorite Red Sox team ever is probably 2013. I just the the charisma that was there with that was like, I don't know. It's just something special that I don't think I've ever seen out of a baseball team before. But yeah, I'm from New York and a Red Sox fan, and it's great having a group of guys to talk to like you guys. And
All right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you reached out to us. We wanted to try and do something different. You were a part of a different group of people, and you reached out to us. And as soon as everything ended up, like we started talking and whatnot, I was like, you know what? This is what I'd like to do. Are you interested in it? And then Ed was interested in it, and I was like, this is what we'll do. And then we're just gonna we'll do minor league talk. We'll talk about the farm system. So you'll be talking and paying attention to Greenville because you were interested in Marcelo.
Salem.
Oh, Salem. Sorry.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. So Salem, because you wanted to pay attention to Marcelo Myers and you wanted to watch some of that. But Marcelo's not the only person there. And like, in my opinion, he's not the only person I would want to pay attention to. We have, I'm probably going to screw this up. I think it's Jordan Blaze. Is that
Yes.
his name? Yeah, Jordan Blaze.
Blaze
He looks.
Jordan.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
see, I knew I was going to fuck it up. He's got like two first names. That's why. But Blaze Jordan, we've got him down in Salem, and that dude he's built like a shit brick house. And I'm just like so excited to see him just mash balls. So give us a little bit of information on what you have seen so far and what we should be paying attention to when it comes to Salem.
Of course. The Salem Red Sox are the low A affiliate of the Red Sox. They're currently sitting at 7-3 on a 2-game losing streak, and the pitching hasn't looked great the past 2 games, but before that they have been actually really solid. The first game of the 2-game losing streak, they gave up 8 runs, and then the last game they gave up 11. So that's not been ideal.
No,
But other than that, the pitching has actually been looking really solid. And yeah, I was actually interested in Mayer for like the main reason of Portland. But there's a different guy from the 2021 draft class that has actually caught my attention, and that's catcher Nathan Hickey. He was a Florida Gator, and we got him in the 5th round. So Hickey, Blaze Jordan, Nico Cavadas, Gilberto. I can't pronounce this dude's last name.
Jimenez?
No, Gilberto Mexicano, I think is it. Do you know who that is, Ed?
Mexicano?
Mexicano? Yeah.
I'm just guessing. I don't know off the top of my
Yeah. They're all tied with 1 home run, so the offense hasn't been hitting the long ball that much, but there's 5 of them, each have 1, so 5 home runs through 10 games isn't too bad. Actually, Marcelo is hitting .316 with 8 RBIs and 4 doubles, and one of the doubles was a clutch one early in the season. So, and then when we're talking about Marcelo, one thing that's really like caught my attention is how mature he's looked when he's been at the plate. He's had great like attention to detail on balls and strikes, and it's just been like amazing to see out of a kid who's straight out of high school facing professional hitters.
Oh yeah, there was something really cool in one of the games recently. Now he got came out just gangbusters, was hitting like 500, just knocking the cover off everything. He's been in a little bit more of a slump lately, but the other day he struck out his first 2 times up, and the third time he came up was against a pitcher who I think was 4 years older than him. Doubled opposite field.
Yep. It's crazy to see, and honestly, this is gonna sound like cheesy, but it gives me goosebumps knowing that we have somebody like that in our system. Like I think he really might be a generational talent at shortstop. And like a guy you were saying, Brad, Blaze Jordan, not a hot start for him. He's hitting 143, but he does have the home run.
When he gets a hold of a ball, he's going to get a hold of something.
It's gone. There's no doubt. Yeah. I mean, he was hitting home runs as a 16-year-old out of major league ballparks.
Yeah. It's just crazy to imagine all of that. So anything else that we should be paying attention to when it comes to the Salem Red Sox?
Miguel Suero, he's 2-0 early in the season. He's thrown 7.2 innings with a 0 ERA, a .52 whip, and holding opponents to a 115 batting average. So that's a pitcher I'd keep my eye on. And then Adonis Bautista has thrown 6 innings with a 1.5 ERA. So there are a few good arms down there.
Winkelman Gonzalez is considered a pretty high level prospect at this point. How's he been? Winkelman Gonzalez.
He is.
I didn't see that.
He's 1-0 on the season. He's pitched 2 games. He started both of those games, and he's pitched 7 innings with 12 strikeouts and a 1.0 whip.
Yeah, no, he's got the start tonight. So yeah, he's somebody who he's definitely one to keep an eye on there too.
Yeah, I'll definitely catch that game tonight. I think I missed his last start, so that's why I was a little hesitant on saying anything.
And there's one guy that I just want to mention because it's mostly just because I like I've been referring to him as the Venezuelan god of walks, and that's Brainer Bonacci.
Who?
This guy's name is Brainer Bonacci. He was the shortstop until They got Mayer. And he's no power so far. But in his first 35 plate appearances, he's drawn 13 walks, and a bunch of them been like four walk games, that kind of thing.
He's had 22 at bats, 9 runs, 7 hits, 5 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. He's got a .318 batting average, non-base percentage of .571, and an OPS of .889.
Yeah, it's it's just such an interesting stat line.
And as they would say in Moneyball, he gets on base.
Gets on base.
That's all that fucking matters, man.
No, but that's about all I have. Just a guy I keep my eye on is definitely Hickey. I think he could move up in the prospect list this year. Nice 5th round pick from Florida.
Yeah, it's interesting with him because at least in how we rank them with Sox prospects, he's 30 right now, but by comparison, Cottom is 59, and Wong and Hernandez are 27 and 28 respectively. So as far as he's pretty close to those guys. And
who's 30?
30 is Hickey.
Nathan Hickey?
Nathan Hickey, yeah. This is on Sox prospects.
Oh, he's 30th, 30 ranked. Oh, okay. I'm like his age.
Oh, you thought he was 30 years old?
Salem.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, bro. No, he's 22. He
went to college a little late.
You're right. Jesus. He was drafted, like you said, in the 5th round. He was drafted 136th overall. So 51 at bats, 11 runs, 13 hits, a homer. 10 RBIs, a 255 average, 414 on base percentage, 806 OPS. Yeah, it looks decent for me. Let's see if now. Do you see anybody getting called up to AA out of the people that you have mentioned?
I think Suero could possibly be up there at some point. If he keeps starting how he has been,
it would be high A first. They'd have to go to.
Are you sure? So they can't just skip?
They can skip sometimes. It just doesn't. They usually want to ease them through.
Especially with Chaim Bloom, I don't really see anyone really skipping too many levels.
I mean, didn't Jeter Downs skip AA?
He was that was kind of a weird situation. He was technically at AA for 8 games, in the 2019 season, and then 2020 happened, and then they started him at AAA. So there's a reason you don't do that with the players, and I think
Yeah,
has
and
been.
we didn't even talk about him, so there's
Yeah. There's
all
that.
right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tim. We'll
Of
be
course.
definitely talking more about this stuff about the Salem Red Sox during next month's meeting. And Ed, so give us a little bit on Greenville.
What if I told you there was a shortstop at Greenville who was slashing 463 for his batting average, 488 on base percent, 781 slugging percentage because he 6 doubles, 2 triples, and a homer over 43 plate appearances, and he wasn't even having the best defensive season at Greenville.
Are we talking about Matthew Lugo?
We're talking about Matthew Lugo.
I just had a feeling we were talking about Matthew Lugo. So what about Matthew Lugo?
Matthew Lugo was, I think it was the year that they lost their first round pick for some reason, and he was their first pick in that draft. Came up to, he's only 20, so he's pretty young even for like Greenville level. But he had a slow start at Salem, wasn't looking that good, fell down a bit on some of the prospect charts, but had a nice last month. Yeah, Brad.
Fun fact: did you know who his uncle is?
I think you should tell us who his uncle that he went to his baseball academy.
Yeah, Tim, do you want to take a guess at who Matthew Lugo's uncle is?
Julio Lugo.
The answer may surprise you. It's not Julio Lugo.
Yeah, it's definitely not Julio Lugo. It's Carlos Beltran.
Really?
Really? And he went to his high school, or is the Carlos Beltran Baseball Academy in, is it Florida or Puerto Rico?
It's in Puerto Rico.
Okay, so it says Florida, Puerto Rico. So that's why I was just like,
I had thought it was Puerto Rico. I know Lugo's from Puerto Rico, so maybe it's in Florida. I don't actually. I do not know off the top of my head the location of the Carlos Beltran Baseball Academy.
yeah, I just happened to pull that up. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's So he's got that lineage, and he's hit. He's really hit this year. His defense was work in progress. That seems to have improved a bit, but he's not the guy that's been tearing the cover off the ball more so than anybody else. That would be the guy who was the high A player of the week last week for I think it was for the Southeast Division or whatever. And this is a guy that we saw a bit in spring training. That's Cedon Rafaela. Rafaela is 391 batting average, 826 slugging percentage, and that comes off of 5 doubles and 5 home runs that he's hit.
That's
in his first 49 plate appearances. Yeah, no, he's it's not that exciting. And, he's also stolen 4 bases in that. So the guy plays just about every position. He was the minor league defensive player of the year for the Red Sox last year. And he's Dustin Pedroia size, possibly smaller. He's like 5'8", 145 pounds wet.
If I'm correct, haven't they been playing him in center field quite a bit?
Center field, yep. He made one of the best defensive plays I've ever seen in left last year, but he's gotten some time at second, shortstop, and third base. So he's somebody. Now he's 19th right now on the Sox prospects list. I think he's somebody that's going to. He's only 21, so he's moved quickly as it is. I think we're going to see him in Double-A at the very least by the end of the year. He's somebody who we might see slide onto the 40-man raw. He could surprise people. I really do think he's that good of a player potentially.
Well, I'm interested in seeing some more. I'm gonna have to try to put some more time into watching like a game from each one of these teams. I think I'm gonna try and fall back on watching the Woo Sox as much as I love watching the Woo Sox. I'm very interested in seeing what Casas does, and he does get a lot of traction when it comes to interaction on Twitter. So, but I'm going to pay attention a little bit more to the Portland Sea Dogs for the next time that we end up talking. We'll have to come up with a date to get together and whatnot, and we'll let everybody know under the Green Acres Twitter account. So, do either of you have anything else that you would like to add?
I Only thing I've got is one player I just wanted to mention real quick, and that's Alex Spinellis, who you alluded to before. The other part of the Hunter Renfroe trade has already hit 4 home runs and has a 781, a 657 slugging percentage. So that trade is looking pretty good for the Red Sox right now.
Right, and Jackie's already making better defensive plays out in right field.
I love Jackie. He's hit a bunch of doubles. Like, he's fine. I
like
love Jackie.
Jackie too. I'll take the freaking 200, 230 freaking batting average for the defense.
It's just when it's bad, but when it's great, it's so great.
I'll take the defense. I don't care about the offense. I know what to expect for the offense.
Ed, I have a quick question about you for Greenville.
Yeah.
What's going on with Nick York in Greenville?
So, can I tell you something funny? It's very strange that a guy who's hitting 324 isn't on the list for this. He's hitting 324. He hasn't had a ton of power yet. He's only hit 2 doubles. He'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
The guy wakes up the guy gets up out of bed and hits like 3 singles before he even has breakfast. So he's just getting warmed up. Once it gets a little warmer out, you're going to see the power numbers go up a bit. But if this is a cold Nick York, he's hitting 324.
I'll take it.
He went 5 for 6 the other day. That was pretty cool.
All right, gentlemen. So we're going to get going because the Nesson broadcast is probably going to do the Jerry Remy tribute. I'm hoping to catch that. I know that you guys want to catch that as well. So thank you guys for coming on. This is our first episode. Pretty awesome. I hope that we continue doing this and learn off of each other. It's fun to talk about something like I really don't know a lot about. So like getting to learn this stuff, doing this while I'm learning is just awesome. And it lets me know who we have in our farm and like, can we trade people? Can we use these people when, when people like Kike is gone, say Xander is getting ready to opt out, things like that. These are things that we can talk about when we talk on the regular show on the Pesky Report. So I appreciate you guys coming on. Tim, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're going to be on every month, man. So there's that. So thanks everybody for watching and listening to us. Hopefully, if you have any questions or anything, please make sure to send us some DMs. You can either hit us up at the Pesky Report or Greenacres Twitter account. Greenacres Twitter account is SoxFarms_. And I'll see you later.